Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me. This is the evening drive home with NJ Evans. Now, yes, identity theft is a huge issue, I would say. And one of the things that I wanted to do, being that this is video two concerning identity theft, I wanted to bring to you at least a couple of the players on YouTube who I feel are giving you some really solid information. But in the meantime, before we begin that portion of this particular video, what I'd like to do is just welcome you all to the evening drive. I hope that you had yourself a wonderful weekend. I hope that you have yourself a wonderful day. It's very nice here in the hot land of the Southwest. Very nice, very hot, very dry. The usual stuff. But there is a breeze. There is a breeze. And I think with that breeze comes a little bit more information for us all. Have you ever met that kind of friend of yours who just knows everything? And every time you have a conversation with them, you say to them, "Hey, I have this idea." And they say, "Yeah, I know about that," and blah, 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 blah. Or if you say to them, "Listen, let's go in this particular direction and accomplish something together, really accomplish something together," and they say, "Well, um, maybe next time when you ask me, I'll do something like that." You can't get any support, is what I'm driving at. Either you're going to dig, or you're not going to have anything. But you know what I wanted to say to you? You have yourself. And you have yourself, so that means that you can go ahead and follow your dreams. You can dig for information and things like that that you might need in order for you to acquire the kind of confidence that you to center yourself and to move forward in whatever your particular industry is. And today we're talking about identity theft, and identity theft seems to be just it's just running rampant here in the United States, and I'm quite sure across the world. So what do you do about that? Do you play the chess game? Do you sit back and say, "Okay, let me get a Bobby Fischer book from the 1970s so that I'm able to really understand the terrain and my opponent, as well as myself? How do I identify my own strengths to look at this board from an aerial view and then move forward?" Do you do that? That would be a great thing if you do. Or do you sit back and you say, "Hey, listen, somebody else will do it for me. I have too many things to do today. I just don't have the time." And then you have people such as myself who will say, "Listen, I like doing research because I consider myself a researcher, but I also consider myself a scientist. So certain things have to fall in a segment, in some type of continuity. If it doesn't fall in that continuity, then I'm like, okay, I'm not interested." So, saying that, let's begin this whole story at the beginning, where I think the beginning is. And then you can always leave me a message and tell me whether or not you agree or you disagree. I don't mind. But make sure you build a good case for me, okay? There's a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Renkin. And this gentleman is involved with the third industrial revolution. But he also talks to you about the Internet of Things. Now, the Internet of Things happens to be exactly who we are, the consumer. That's the consumer level. Now, when you start talking about the industrial level, well, now that's something totally different. Okay, so now we're talking about layers and we're talking about domains, and it becomes very involved and expansive. But that's not where I want us to go right now. Where I see us, identity theft seems to be the beginning of that whole portal. When you start there, because your identity, your email address, your phone numbers, and all those kinds of things are solidly attached to you with two-step verification. Now, in order for you to lose your control, that means that there must be other entities out there that have mastered how to get your identity. And we're not only talking about the usual stuff like phishing or like worms or like the Trojan horse or any of those kinds of things, that they become more extravagant than that. But what we are speaking about at this particular point of time is the little things like put in something in your email to track you, or disguising themselves in what they would usually call social Now, all of a sudden, I went blank on that word. Anyway, social recognition. So there, you might have a situation where somebody calls you on the phone and says, "Hey, listen, I just heard that such and such and such a kid, and I wanted to know by any way, any chance, do you happen to know her?" And you'll say, "Yes, I do," or "No, I don't know who that person is." Boom, hang up. Or you might say, "Well, where's that person from?" Now, if you become gregarious, if you get into that conversational point, then they have you. Now, why are they calling you? Is really the question, not the question, not the statements that they're giving you, but why are they calling you? What is their objective? And sometimes that leads to a whole nother kind of big mess. So let's get back to the issue at hand here. As I said before, Bobby Fischer, great person. Well, I think his playing was very good. I know that his books from the 70s was really, very strong in terms of helping you to understand the terrain. Now, once you learn the terrain, then what? Apply it. So I felt that the person who comes the closest to really making it crystal clear about how to apply anything is a gentleman whose name is, I believe, Lyron Seageeve. Seageeve. I think that's his name, Seageeve. But anyway, his handle on YouTube is called the Techie Guy. And I like him. I like his energy. I like the fact that he really does his homework. And he is truly interested in making sure that you keep your privacy. So now, this is what we need to do. I want you to take a look at some of the things that he's talked about because I learned so much about how to do, they call it disconnect.me. Yeah, how to find yourself on the internet, how to see who's watching you and who's following you. And oh my gosh, the things that I was sitting up all night last night involved with because of the fact that he had so many, I went through so many of his videos, so that I could find out what's going on and what would be the best approach. But I think for you and for me, the best approach at this particular point in time, but also because of the copyright, we don't want to play with the copyrights. All right, even though this is for educational purposes, is to reach out to this gentleman. He's called the Techie Guy. All right, and his real name is Liron, Lyron, Segev, Segev. That's my interpretation. Now, so what are some of the things? Oh, he had this one piece there that I thought was absolutely brilliant. He was talking about phone calls and getting a second line. And ironically enough, I was thinking the same thing. But the way he connected it last night, I was saying to myself, wow, he connected it so that you can stop giving out your real phone number. You can either go to Mint Mobile and you pay the money on Mint Mobile, you get a second line, and then you update all of your official records with your second line. Then you also have the voice provider, which is Google, and you use them in order to become your front person. Makes a lot of sense, but he can describe it better than I can. So definitely look for that one. Let me see. What else? And that was recalls. I think change your recall, your cell number. That's what it is. Change your cell number. Okay. Another thing that he was talking about was hidden trackers. The hidden trackers on your email. Now remember, you're connected not only through your cell phone, you're connected by way of your email. So now, no matter where you go, people say download, give me your email address and I'll give you this free white paper. Give me your email address and I'll give you this download, this free download. Of course, that's part of the marketing campaign. But where does that email address go once it leaves you and that person? How broad is that horizon? And apparently it must be very huge. And there are people who are spending their time out there just compiling information about who you are and the things that you like and the things that you don't like. And they're selling your information on and on and on. It's like the rabbit hole. So, how deep is the rabbit hole? Well, we can always find out. So, if you have DuckDuckGo, there's an email protection that they have on DuckDuckGo so that you'll be able to get more control over who and what is passing through your email. And you'll also be notified at certain things. Also remember that two-step authorization or two-factor authorization. I didn't really care for that one too much, but there are reasons why, so they say. And what I'm thinking is that easier, or is it easier for you to just get a key, the Google Authenticator? All right, are you going to get that or not? Well, I don't know. I'm not that good with keeping keys sometimes, so I think I wouldn't do that, because if I had a key and if I lost the key according to what I'm being told, then what'll happen is that I'll be locked out of all my information. Bad, 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 bad idea. Well, that's two of the things that I wanted to share with you. But there's this other one that I thought was just simply fascinating, which is disconnect.me/disconnect. You definitely need to look at that when you have an opportunity. And there's another one that I think this person was one of his sponsors, though, actually. But he's trying to create a private search engine, and the company's name is Neva, like in the cream. That's what it reminded me of when I heard the name, Neeva. Anyway, I'm not promoting that for that particular reason. I'm just saying that that's interesting. He has a search engine and he wants to use that, so that people can be able to feel free and safe. There's so many things out there right now. I really, really do like the techie guy, and I've been following him for a couple of years now. But there's a couple other guys that I know as well. You see, my usual entourage is not available all the time. So if they're not available, my techie people, if they're not available, then I had to find a second group. I wanted to say this to you, though. Do your homework. I can research certain things and point you in a direction. And trust me, what I just did in a couple of minutes actually cost me a few hours. And if I turn all of it into an ebook, it'll be a few pages. I mean, more than 20. All right. So, what I'm saying to you is do your homework, spend the time, learn, because it's not going to hurt you. And trust me, this is just the basic. This is not even into the depth of where cyber goes, because we are talking cybersecurity here. So, emails and your phone number and the two-step identification, all of that is connected. But what my curiosity was, connected how far? And what I'm beginning to see is that the connection is broad, is huge. I would say it's global. So without any further ado, I would say have yourself a beautiful week. I look forward to speaking with you again soon. And let me know. Let me know. Do you feel identity theft is a huge issue or not? Or maybe that's just my imagination. And you can find me listed below, my email address. I want to just thank you so much for being here. Have a great evening. Ciao, everybody.